Devil fruits are great and all, but don't let that distract you from milk. Delicious, powerful, and unexplained milk. Which in the One Piece world is kind of like a magic potion that can literally canonically heal any damage, particularly bone-related damage, which is why it is Brook's beverage of choice, although I wouldn't say he drinks it, per se, more like he showers his bones in it. Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece, and today we are here to delve into the unexplained, because One Piece is known for serving us banquet after banquet of delicious mysteries. However, one aspect of the series that generally adheres to the strictest of fictional sciences has to do with abilities. Because there's a really good general rule you can follow in One Piece. If something weird happens, it's either because of a devil fruit or it's because of haki. And this thought will work on 99% of occasions. However, there are still a series of incredibly rare instances where supernatural powers have been displayed that have no connection to either devil fruits or haki. They are simply unexplained. And some of them really do need some explaining because they're pretty ridiculous. And one of the more ridiculous ones would be the subscribe button for the Grand Line Review, the pressing of which will grant regular One Piece content uploaded straight into your YouTube feed. Although since I've just explained how that power works, it is no longer eligible to be covered in this video. Curses foiled again. Do it anyway though, and please do say hi in the comments below if you are a new member of the Grand Fleet. Welcome. Also, just FYI, this is a sponsored video, so welcome to the Raid Shadow Legends ad, your source for legends performing raids, presumably within the shadows. It's a free-to-play mobile RPG with millions of players that has nothing to do with One Piece except for when they're on a pirate ship, which is very loosely connected to One Piece. But Raid has 16 different factions such as orcs, dwarves, and others, each of which is made up of unique champions. Treefella is my favorite champion for reasons. My favorite faction is orcs in general actually, and I like them primarily because they're green, and well, green is a profoundly OP color. And last month, Raid released their biggest update ever, being the Doom Tower, a giant tower-like structure with 120 floors, a bunch of secret challenge rooms, and 12 crazy cool bosses to take on, many of whom may be considered edible by a certain pirate captain. So if you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you need to do is hit the link in the description, and if you're a new player, you'll get your free Void Champion Bulwark, 50 gems, an XP booster, energy refills, and even an Ancient Shard, all of which will be waiting for you right about here. And it's just that easy. Just click the link in the description and good luck, Shadow Raiders. But with that, let's move on to some seriously unexplained powers in One Piece, beginning with the ever infamous King Punch, the signature technique of the fighting monarch, King Elizabello II, who if not for this punch would be an entirely forgotten character. However, he does happen to possess one of the, quite frankly, most powerful single attacks we've ever seen in the series. Very much on par with the kind of destruction that someone like, say, Kaido could summon with a Borrow Breath, just not as easily accessible, not as easily at all. Because here's the weird thing about the King Punch. Before using it, Elizabello needs to concentrate his strength and warm up for roughly an hour, making it nigh on useless in traditional combat. However, it does work, and it is rumored to be capable of bringing down an emperor, but it also functions entirely outside of anything we know. Elizabello is not a devil fruit user, and it's also not haki because there is no form of armament or conquerors that even comes close to mimicking this kind of effect. Also, the fact that it couldn't penetrate Bartolomeo's devil fruit abilities take haki off the table entirely. So King Punch is a very cool concept. I do like it a lot, but it has no functional explanation in the series as of yet. For something a bit closer to home now, there's a particular mystery surrounding Zoro that we've had to contend with for like, I don't know, 15 years now, whenever any sloppy was published, and that's because Zoro received an incredibly cool yet highly unexplained power-up during that arc that allows him to invoke the art of Kyutoryu, or Nine Sword style. And even after all of this time, I still can't quite tell you what this is, at least with any certainty. What it looks like is Zoro conjuring an extra 4 arms and 2 heads, presumably out of his ass because I have no idea where else they come from. Zoro is obviously not a devil fruit user, and while he does demonstrably use some form of haki pre-time skip, this isn't even close to being considered an application of haki, at least as we know it. And I should say in the Viz manga translation, this is referred to as Demon Aura Nine Sword style, which in many different series you could just go, yeah, that's Zoro using his aura, but that's not really a thing in One Piece. And one of the more frustrating things is that Zoro hasn't used Kyutoryu post-time skip, not yet anyway, so it's only been canonically wielded twice in the series, and both had equally as confusing results. Is Zoro making corporeal constructs? If so, how? Or is he crafting illusions? And if so, how? And also if so, why bother using the illusion on a pacifista of all things? It's a very confusing technique, and perhaps Oda has simply abandoned it, but whatever the case, it is extremely mysterious and of course unexplained. And for something similar, we can also turn to Vista, another swordsman actually, but he has a very peculiar power where his swordplay generates petals, beautiful yet entirely unexplained petals. And apparently he can produce introduce multiple types as well, although as of right now we've only seen rose petals. And I won't go too far into this because it is possible that Vista is a devil fruit user and has an effect similar to that of Nico Robin's limb sprouting, which also results in petal craftery, or maybe even one of his swords is a fruit user. Whatever the case, there is another potential Zoro style effect out there. But now I'd like to move to one of Zoro's worst generation contemporaries, a man by the name of Basil Hawkins. That's not his name, I don't know why I said it like that. Ignore that, Basil Hawkins, because if there's something even harder to buy than Zoro's demon aura, it's the absolute insane voodoo and tarot related powers of Hawkins. So let's start this off clearly. Hawkins is a fruit user. He ate a devil fruit called the Warawara no Mi, or the straw fruit, and it is a paramecia type that allows Hawkins to create, manipulate, and even potentially turn his own body into straw, which is kind of crazy on a whole different level of its own, because that would technically make Hawkins a special paramecia user, because basic paramecias usually cannot both generate and change their users' bodies into a substance, other than Katakuri of course, who is the aforementioned special boy. But that isn't even the main thing about Hawkins, because the devil fruit is more of a nice accessory to his actual powers, one of which is to activate a deck of tarot cards, pull them out at random, or as dictated by fate, and make use of a special ability that does also come with a chance of being a negative effect. It's actually a perfect Hunter x Hunter style ability because it's very well balanced. It contains great power but also great risk, as well as the restriction of randomness. However, one piece I've noticed is not Hunter x Hunter, and these cards, as of right now, well, they just look like plain sorcery. As well as all of the voodoo connection stuff, which Hawkins can wield at will, unlike the cards, and let's not forget his powers to predict the future. I mean, not solidly, but his ability to ascertain a strong probability of whatever he asks happening. It's like 3 unexplained powers all crammed within one character. And because his devil fruit has already been named, we know it's not a mythical Zoan or anything, and so the only possibility remaining is that he is a super special paramecia, otherwise he is just utter unexplained madness. And just on predicting the future though, whenever this topic gets brought up, we can never go past Madame Charlie, the mermaid fortune teller whose scryings have allegedly never been incorrect, having very accurately predicted the Great Age of Piracy as well as the death of Whitebeard, and some other big stuff that's probably a spoiler for non-manga readers at this point. The only thing really up in the air was her prediction about Luffy, or what people assume is Luffy, because fun fact, in the manga when Charlie made her prediction about the destruction of Fishman Island, only a silhouette of a man with a straw hat is seen. However, in the anime they just decided to show this as Luffy, so anime only watchers just maybe be aware that Luffy is not the guaranteed destructor of the island, which could and likely still will happen, and could and likely still will be caused by Luffy, but also maybe not. In any case, Charlie has an unexplained power. I do not know how she does this. The closest I can come is that she may be like the most advanced user of observation haki within the known universe, and always has been ever since she was a young 5-year-old sharklet, which I guess isn't the worst idea in the world because some people are just born with these natural skills. But then again, Charlie also has to see things through a literal crystal ball, or actually probably a pearl, I guess. But either way, it makes observation haki pretty exceptionally unlikely. As it stands, or I don't know actually, can mermaids stand? Not until they turn 30, really? So as it currently swims, Charlie is simply a mystical oracle with capabilities of an unknown origin. A description which leads quite nicely into our next topic, being the voice of all things. Now at the very least, this is not a power restricted to just one character. We have a fair few who have been, look, I don't know if gifted is the right word, but it seems to be an inherited and or fated ability. For example, both Luffy and Momonosuke have this power, as did Goldie Roger and Kozuki Oden. And basically, it allows them to do exactly what it says on the box, which is to quite literally hear the voice of all things, which has most commonly been represented to us as conversations and thoughts of the Sea Kings, but also the living island of Zou, Zunisha. But don't confuse this with observation haki. There are definitely brands of observation which allow their users to hear thoughts or even feel the emotions of those around them, but Oda has gone to great lengths to separate these concepts. And in fact, in Roger's case, he was even able to hear the voices of non-living things, such as when he followed the voice of a poneglyph way up to Skypiea in order to find it. And there are also similar powers out there in regards to animals, like how Chopper can communicate with seemingly any creature, or how Shirahoshi can communicate with Sea Kings, but neither of those are this. And I don't even know what this is, but right now the voice of all things is an even rarer talent in the series than Conqueror's haki. So it seems like a very endgame sort of deal, and it will probably be revealed to us one day, but as of right now, it's still pretty damn unexplained. As is a certain ability from our Straw Hat musician, Mr. Brook. He can do a lot of seriously wacky things with his devil fruit powers, like remove his soul from his body and create ice from the afterlife for reasons. But one aspect of Brook's combat that has nothing to do with his devil fruit is his capability of putting people to sleep simply by playing music at them. And I guess this is just one of those things where you have to accept heightened reality. You know, the music he plays is so soothing that you just fall asleep on the spot. It's kind of like needing to accept the heightened reality of Miss Goldenwick's powers. She is just so supremely talented of a painter that her work can control you like a form of hypnosis. Not at all an unheard of concept elsewhere in One Piece, and hypnosis-based effects actually get performed quite commonly. So I suppose Brook's abilities probably fall under that banner. But for something completely out of this world, one of the greatest unexplained abilities of all has always been Clubaltermann. This is where One Piece just goes full supernatural like never before, because Clubaltermann is said to be a legendary sprite who dwells specifically on ships that have been well loved and well cared for. And Usopp perceived him as a manifestation of the going merry, although be careful about conflating those concepts, because yes, merry is also confirmed to have been able to manifest itself to some degree, at least consciously, which come to think of it is yet another very unexplained power in One Piece. But Clubaltermann is a completely separate entity. He is quite possibly a very literal spirit, and evidence of a layer of the One Piece world that we just don't have access to because our story is focused in the realm of mortals. I mean, it's not too far of a stretch to say that yes, spirits could exist. Brook and Big Mom are most certainly proof of such things, although once again they are both devil fruit related. So in terms of Clubaltermann, my closest possible explanation is that maybe he was a former user of the Omi Omi no Mi, or it's part of a soul taken from a former user of the Soro Soro no Mi, or perhaps even part of the soul of an old Soro Soro no Mi user themselves. But barring that potential, Clubaltermann is just a completely wild card existence, and not only one of the craziest unexplained abilities in One Piece, but also one of the greatest unexplained mysteries in general. But what do you guys think? Please do leave your thoughts in the comments below, or even join my Discord server. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, then please do go and check out some of my other content, or even subscribe to the channel for more glorious One Piece business uploaded straight into your YouTube feeds. But for now, this has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.